Welcome to the Creepy Cryptic Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the creepy, the cryptic, the mysterious, and the macabre. I'm your host, Ron, joined always by Clancy.
Hi, everyone.
Each episode, one of us will have a topic that the other doesn't know much about, and today we'll be talking about Nessie's North American cousin, Bessie, the Lake Erie monster.
I'm so excited, especially since it's nearby where we are.
Definitely, it's a really interesting topic. A lot of sightings, a lot of interesting research. I'm really excited to talk about it.
Awesome.
First, let's give a little background about Lake Erie itself. Lake Erie is the fourth largest lake by surface area of the 5 Great Lakes of North America and the 11th largest globally. Situated on the international border between Canada and the United States, Lake Erie's northern shore is the Canadian province of Ontario, with the United States of Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and New York on its western, southern, and eastern shores. Now, let's talk about Bessie herself. Bessie is also known as the Great Snake of Lake Erie, the Lake Erie Monster, South Bay Bessie. Most Bessie sightings happen in South Bay area along the Ohio coast near Lake Erie Island. Over the centuries, people have described Bessie in many ways. Some say she has a dog-like head and large fins. Some even say she has human-like arms. Her color has been reported as gray, copper, or silver. One thing that's fairly consistent across the sightings is her long snake-like body that measures anywhere from 5 to 18 meters long, 16.5 feet to 59.5 feet. So she's pretty big.
Yeah, geez. And I was going to say that, dog-like head and large fins sounds adorable at first. But then when you said human-like arms, that's just absolutely not, not adorable whatsoever. But any type of, even if it was a cute, dog head and, big floppy fins, anything like that long would be so scary.
Oh, yeah. Cryptozoologists often believe that the lake monsters are surviving relatives to plesiosaurs, so the same type of dinosaur some people figure that Nessie is. A huge marine reptile with a long neck that was supposedly went extinct with the dinosaurs. Bessie has been a subject of superstitious sailors, drunk tourists, and newspaper hoax for over a century. But the legend of the serpentine creature living in Lake Erie originated with First Nations cultures. The First Nations groups in Lake Erie region, particularly the Iroquois tribe, would speak of the Onyare, a water spirit that lives in the Great Lakes. The name Onyare is a Mohawk word for snake. The Onyare is described as a horned-like snake that breathes both poison and fire. The Onyare is said to capsize canoes and devour humans, though the creature will sometimes spare travelers who make great enough offerings. So it's interesting that there's there is a connection there to the natives that live around there.
Yeah.
That it's not just something brought over by the Europeans.
Yeah, there's the different origins of it almost.
Mm-hmm. So it makes it interesting that is it natural or is it supernatural?
Yeah.
Is it the spirit or is it a plesiosaur or something else entirely?
Well, and it sounds so different too, though. The descriptions, the Native American descriptions, seem more based in this aggressive fire poison creature, but the other one, it just seems it's still big, but it doesn't seem as aggressive. At least not yet.
We'll get to some interesting things potentially here. Alright, so now we're going to get on to some sightings. The first recorded sighting of Bessie occurred in 1793, and more sightings have occurred intermittently in greater frequency in the last 3 decades. While shooting ducks in the north of Sandusky, Ohio in 1793, the captain of a sloop called the Felicity started, startled a large snake-necked creature described as more than a rod, 16.5 feet in length. In July 1817, a crew of a schooner reported a 30 to 40-foot long serpent, dark in color, and later that year another boat crew spotted a similar animal, this time copper-colored and 60 feet in length. This time they shot it with a musket, which had no visible effect.
Okay, wow. And it didn't rear back on them and try and fight them or anything? It just kind of slinked into the water?
Apparently it just disappeared into the deep.
Okay.
Well, the thing is Lake Erie technically is one of the smallest Great Lakes and also one of the shallowest. But at some points it still goes down to 210 feet. So it's still pretty deep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space for it.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's still like deep enough and wide enough for it to hide something.
Definitely. It's also interesting because it doesn't feed into the ocean whatsoever. It connects to rivers that eventually do, but the lake itself has no direct feed to the ocean. So it's all fresh water.
So it wouldn't be anything that wiggled its way in there. It's definitely its own creature.
Exactly. It'd have to be something that's lived there for a while. A third sighting in 1817 incident took place near Torlendo when French settlers, two brothers named Dussault, encountered a huge monster on the beach, withering in what they took to be its death throes. The brothers described being between 20 and 30 feet in length and shaped like a large sturgeon, except that it had arms. The panicked brothers fled the scene, and when they returned later, the creature had disappeared, presumably carried off by the waves after its death. All that was left to its presence were marks on the beach and a number of silver scales about the size of a silver dollar.
Oh, jeez.
So that's
yeah.
pretty big.
So there was actually evidence this time of something, at least.
At least something. There is very large sturgeon in Lake Erie, so I wonder really if it was just a really big sturgeon that they saw. But 20 to 30 feet would be insane.
That'd be bananas.
Yeah. It's interesting too that they describe it having arms.
Yeah, where would those have come from? And if it is, that's so frustrating that if it was in its death throes, that they didn't stay and wait. If anything, wait for it to pass away and kind of have the body there to show people, because it sounds like such a huge discovery if you see this ginormous thing with arms that should not have arms just flailing on the beach. I guess I understand running away, but at the same time, so frustrating.
It's interesting too because this is 1817, so they could have watched it die and seen the body, but there was no photography or anything back then. So trying to prove it to other people what they saw. I guess
we just have drawings of it or something, or
exactly.
No, but still, it'd be nice to have something. Even they could have preserved maybe something, even if it was just the head and an arm or something.
Well, they describe even that there's scales, but even over that time, probably there's no way those scales are still around.
No, that's true. That's true. They probably didn't even keep the scales.
No.
Well, that's frustrating.
An extraordinary sighting took place by the entire crew of a ship board from Buffalo, New York to Toledo, Ohio in July 1892, which was carried by local newspapers. The crew, including the captain, saw a large area of water approximately 1.5 miles ahead of them, churned up and foaming. As they approached, they saw a huge sea serpent that appeared to be wrestling about in the water, as if it was fighting an unseen foe. They observed as the creature relaxed itself and stretched out to its full length, an estimated 50 feet, 50 feet and 4 feet in circumference, and its head sticking up above the water an additional 4 feet. A brownish creature's eyes were described as viciously sparkling, and large fins were also noted. So an entire crew saw it and told the local newspapers about it. That's crazy. Like an entire ship seeing, this creature. And 50 feet plus being 4 feet in circumference, so that's a huge and then another 4 feet.
Because I'm just trying to imagine it, and that would be absolutely terrifying first, but
oh yeah, especially since you see it struggling in the water, like it's fighting something.
And I'm trying to think of what reason these people would have to lie about it. There's not really a reason. They're not gonna get fame and fortune from this one time seeing a giant snake water beast creature.
It's so crazy too that it's not just one, but the entire ship saw it. And I imagine ships back then weren't that big. They weren't that crazy big, especially on the lakes, especially on Lake Erie. I'm just picturing compared to the boat, probably a similar size.
Yeah, that's the thing. That thing, with the sound of it, it probably matched up to the boat pretty good.
That would scare the shit out of me.
But yeah, damn.
Crystal Beach near Fort Erie was the scene of another sighting on May 5th, 1896. This time, there were 4 witnesses who watched for 45 minutes as a 30-foot creature with a dog-shaped head, pointy tail churned up the water as it swam until finally disappearing before nightfall. An award of $100,000 has been offered by the Huron Lagoon Marina for the capture of Bessie, dead or alive. So they put out $100,000 bounty to capture her or kill her. That is insane to me. And these people watch it for 45 minutes.
That's half a movie.
That's a long time. That's not I caught it out the glimpse of my, the corner of my eye. They described this one as being 30 feet. So I wonder if the rest of its body was obscured or it's a different creature.
I don't know. That's interesting. All of these different sightings have been slightly different.
Yeah, they're all slightly different, but also seem to be generally describing a similar creature.
Yeah, almost as if it might be different generations of a creature, perhaps.
It would have to be, because the first time was in 1793, and this one is in 1896.
Yeah, so it's
over 100 years. Yeah. It would have to be either and the differing in color too. It seems there would at least have to be 2 of them to keep mating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for it to be going on that long, there have to be some kind of ecosystem going on,
able to support it. Yeah, as a creature that size, imagine how much it would have to eat to really sustain itself.
Oh gosh, well, they'd have to eat so much. I wonder if Lake Erie could even provide that much food for a creature like that, if it's as big as people say.
It'd be interesting because there is sturgeon, which are fairly big fish. There's another type of fish that lives there called bowfins that are also fairly big. So I wonder if that would be its main food source, is those types of fish, or because there's no way it could be a vegetarian. There wouldn't be enough vegetation for it to survive off of.
Yeah, no, it's not eating krill or something like that.
Bessie first earned the name Bessie in the Pennsylvania newsletter of Creature Chronicle in 1991. The other had reports of a serpentine monster in Lake Erie, and the article considered sightings that took place 30 years earlier. Bessie was described as 30 to 50 feet long reptile, as round as a bowling ball and with long snake-like neck. The sightings recorded in the article contained sightings from 1960, 1969, 1981, 1983, 1985, 1989, and 1990. So in 91, this article comes out and it includes all of these sightings.
So it kind of took everyone's sightings and put them all together to show how prevalent this creature is.
And it was becoming very like I said earlier, 30 years prior, sightings really picked up. Like for those 30 years, they became more and more frequent, which is interesting.
Yeah, because
I know there is actually like film, like blurry film and pictures from
that's
the
cool.
90s. Yeah, of course it's using 90s cameras, so not exactly the best footage, but it's out there.
So, like, I wonder how good the footage, though, was. You said it's 90s cameras, so...
It's like 90s home...
Okay,
like,
so...
camcorder, like, take your, you could use it in the house to do your Christmas videos, and that was about it.
So it's not gonna get us any closer to definitively having Bessie.
It could be a man just swimming out there with his sticking his arm out. Yeah, it's not exactly the most definitive proof of the world.
Like, there's still interest, which is cool.
In 1995, in Pennsylvania's largest lake, reports of an unknown creature began. The reports started in 1995, but didn't really get any big attention until 1997, when a video of the creature and blurry photos were taken and even prompted a CNN.com article published June 12, 1997. The creature was said to be about 30 to 50 feet long in length and appears similar to a plesiosaurus or an ichthyosaurus, marine reptiles that lived at the same time as the dinosaurs. So, I don't know if you've ever seen what an ichthyosaurus looks like, but it basically kind of looks like a giant prehistoric crocodile type thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Which, for me, doesn't really sound like it would fit. Like, the plesiosaurus sounds much more like it would fit.
Yeah, the crocodile doesn't really vibe with everything else that we've seen so far.
Yeah. It's definitely, though, interesting that, like, even CNN wrote an article about it.
Yeah.
In 1997 with, like I said, about the video. With the video and blurry photos. One thing I never get about evidence in cryptozoology, like Bigfoot pictures or everything like that. Why does everybody all of a sudden just like become the most jittery person ever when they're trying to take a picture of this?
It's because you're enthralled and amazed,
you would think,
and
you would want to try to take the most like
steady
for sure. and clear picture that you could.
Oh yeah, it's like we can take the most amazing picture from the Mars rover on Mars, but we can't get a good picture of someone robbing a gas station.
Yeah.
Like, no, for sure.
Monsters in Lake Erie have been reported as recently as 2001, when a creature dubbed the Lake Erie Chopper first attacked near Port Dover Pump House. In less than 24 hours, 2 unfortunate swimmers were left with vicious bite marks. It was the summer of 2001. 47-year-old Brenda McCormick was headed to a beach for a sunset swim. The waters were calm, the sky was golden, and nothing seemed amiss. Brenda had only just slipped into Lake Erie's cool, refreshing waters when she felt what she could only describe as a chomp on her right calf. Frantically, she made her way back to shore, only to discover something horrifying. Imprinted on her calf muscle was 6-inch series of circular puncture wounds. It was undeniably jaw-shaped. Brenda escaped with minor injuries, but the Lake Erie chomper's appetite was far from satisfied. The following morning, a local father took his son for a swim at that very same beach. The duo was so savagely attacked that the child needed medical attention. The doctor who examined the boy's injuries ruled out a number of creatures that could have produced such a bite. According to the doctor, only creature that could possibly have left such a mark was a bowfin. Bowfin are prehistoric-looking fish with large mouths and strongly developed teeth. They're highly aggressive and nearly insatiable predator species. In fact, bowfin spend most of their time looking for something to eat. Bowfin are non-specific predators, meaning they will chomp down on just about anything, including other bowfin, and perhaps even unlucky swimmers. Bowfin become particularly hostile when they're protecting their nests, which happens during weeks following the spawning in the summertime. Bowfin prefer deep waters during the day, but at night they move into shallower waters. Perhaps the case of the Lake Erie chomper has been closed. So, where does that leave Bessie? Not everyone buys the bowfin theory. Other theories about the true identity of the Lake Erie chomper range from young Bessies to testing out their teeth for the first time to pet piranhas who have been released into the lake. However, whatever is out there in Lake Erie, one thing is for sure, Bessie isn't going away anytime soon.
Ooh, the little chompers. Oh, I can imagine them now, little baby Bessie chompers.
It's interesting that there is this predatory fish out there. And I'm wondering, like, they describe it as prehistoric looking. So, like, I've seen pictures of what a bowfin looks like while researching, and they look like little dinosaurs. Like, they look like something that wouldn't look out of place fighting off a T-Rex if it got too close to the water. Like,
no joke. Oh my gosh.
They don't get as big as Bessie, but I'm wondering if maybe a school of them or, like, a couple of them being spotted at once would be enough to give off that like a mistaken identity. Yeah. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting because if Bessie does exist, then I wonder if that sighting of her fighting something was her fighting, a couple bowfin or something like that. Like,
I wonder.
It's interesting that these predators,
if they're in the same lake.
Exactly, these predators do live together.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the story of Bessie the Lake Erie monster. Thank you so much for joining us, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and share the show with someone else who might enjoy it. If you have any suggestions for topics or have any stories to share, you can send us an email at thecreepycryptidpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Facebook at The Creepy Cryptid Podcast. Thanks again, everyone, and see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time where we talk about The Exorcist and get into that and dive into some behind-the-scenes stuff and talk about whether there was actually something supernatural going on. We shall see. Thanks so much.